Welcome to Deluxe. We visit royal opulence, from British sophistication and tradition to the classic elegance of Grace Kelly and Monaco royalty. We meet the new generation of European royalty and walk in the shoes of kings and queens past and present. The British royal family is one of the most widely recognised families in the world. The wedding of the reigning monarch, Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, to His Royal Highness Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh, was in 1947, a time when few owned television sets. The public queued around the block in order to watch newsreel films. But in 2007, all of the wonderful pomp and pageantry was brought together in Buckingham Palace to celebrate the royal couple's diamond wedding anniversary. The exhibition reunites the outfits of the main wedding party, including the stunning Norman Hartnell-designed wedding dress, encrusted with crystals and 10,000 seed pearls. The royal couple received around 2,500 wedding gifts, and among the exclusive gifts on display were a number of pieces of priceless jewellery.
She was very lucky to have received some wonderful jewels, both from her family but also from other members of the public. For example, from the King and Queen, she received a magnificent suite of sapphire and diamond jewellery, a necklace and earrings, which date from the 19th century. Queen Mary gave her the wonderful Girls of Great Britain tiara, which had been a wedding present to Queen Mary in 1893, and that, of course, is a very familiar object. The Queen wears it very often, and of course we see it on banknotes today.
Her Royal Highness Queen Elizabeth is just as mindful today of dressing beautifully. She has a number of appointed couturiers who design both day and evening wear for her. Stuart Parvin, who has his own exclusive shop in London's Knightsbridge, was at 35 years old one of the youngest couturiers to design for the Queen. His creations sell for anything between £500 and £5,000. And his other prestigious clients include the President of Syria's wife and the Queen of Norway. 2007 was the 10-year anniversary of the tragic death of Diana, Princess of Wales. Few royals have captured the public heart as firmly as this glamorous British princess, who married Prince Charles, the heir to the British throne. In 2006, Diana's sons William and Harry started planning an extravaganza to celebrate their mother's life and her much-loved charities.
We wanted to represent exactly what our mother would have wanted, how she was and all that sort of things. So therefore, the church service alone isn't enough. We wanted to have this big concert with, full of energy, full of sort of fun and happiness, which I knew she would have wanted.
A memorial exhibition was held in Kensington Palace just before the anniversary concert. This exhibition brought together 9 of Diana's exclusive evening dresses in a display which marked her transformation from an awkward kindergarten teacher into a world-famous fashion icon. Elizabeth Emmanuel, one of Diana's wedding dress designers, highlighted her importance to the British fashion industry.
Well, she was the most famous fashion icon, I think, for British designers of all time, and I can't think when there will be anybody else who would be such a fantastic ambassador for British fashion. And it made British designers, including us, very well known. And so that was incredible and a real privilege to have dressed her.
Included in the extensive exhibition was a section on Diana's humanitarian work, her role as a mother, and her work as an ambassador for Britain. Much of the public love for Diana stemmed from her ability to break down the normal inaccessibility of royalty. Despite her sophistication and love of high fashion, she seemed most alive when in the company of those less fortunate than herself. One of the residences of the British royal family is the Grand Buckingham Palace, in the heart of London. Every summer since 1992, the doors of the palace have been opened to the public, who are given the opportunity to view royal opulence firsthand. The palace itself was built in the 1820s for King George IV, but it was Queen Victoria who called it home. In 2004, the theme of the summer opening was musical entertainment.
What visitors see when they come to Buckingham Palace are the state rooms. That's to say the rooms that have always been intended to be shown off. They're the rooms where the Queen and the royal family do all their entertaining, which they do a tremendous amount of in these rooms. They're also where the greatest works of art from the royal collection are put on show to form a magnificent background to the business of the palace.
Over 6,000 visitors per day were able to spend time in the beautiful and luxurious surroundings, listen to recordings of concerts, and view historical fancy dress, musical instruments, and manuscripts. A former member of the British royal family who remains controversial is Sarah Ferguson, Duchess of York. Sarah was formerly married to Prince Andrew, Duke of York, the second son of Queen Elizabeth. Sarah, most commonly known as Fergie, is a spokesperson, writer, and television personality. In 2005, she had a sandwich named in her honour at New York's famous stage deli. Fergie has always defended her right to be in the public eye.
I think that there are no rules in life. The rules that I stand by aren't rules, they're boundaries. And I think good manners, kindness, respecting others, listening to others. And if on the front pages it's me making a funny face eating a sandwich, well, so be it.
The new generation of British royalty will inherit substantial wealth, but substantially diminished political power compared to what their ancestors wielded. The most difficult hurdle for a young royal nowadays is how to negotiate the pressures of wealth and the expectations of behaviour that the royal birthright brings with it. To add to this, there is constant and extensive media interest. Prince William and Prince Harry are the sons of the late Diana, Princess of Wales. Prince William is second in line to the British throne, after his father, Prince Charles, Prince of Wales. The royal family has been highly protective of the two young men, who have been involved in many of the traditional activities of British royalty, including charity activities and service in the armed forces. Prince Harry is considered to be more wayward than his older brother, and photographs of him partying with cigarettes and alcohol have frequently found their way into the British newspapers. Harry did find his grueling 5-week induction into the prestigious Sandhurst Military Academy more to his liking than he thought he would.
Unfortunately, there's something about me, I do enjoy running down a ditch full of mud, fine, but it's the way I am, I love it.
Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie are the daughters of Prince Andrew and the Duchess of York, Sarah Ferguson. The royal family has successfully sheltered the two young women from scandal. However, recently Princess Eugenie appeared on the cover of Tatler magazine in a glamorous pose. Some royal watchers were surprised at the bold photograph, but in the interview, Eugenie showed herself to be loyal to her family, saying her grandmother, the Queen, is the most amazing woman ever. Coming up, the opulence of the Monaco royals and a glamorous princess who broke the rules.
Grace has seldom escaped the headlines. The price of being the Hollywood star who won the heart of the eligible Prince Rainier. Grace
Kelly was a Hollywood princess before she gave up her wonderful film career to marry the Crown Prince of Monaco, Rainier III. Born in Philadelphia, Grace realised from an early age that her great ambition was to act. She funded her own way through drama school by modelling for New York fashion houses. After working as an actress in television, Grace landed her first starring role in the 1952 western High Noon. By the age of 26, she'd already starred in many films, including 3 by the acclaimed director Alfred Hitchcock. Grace's 1955 engagement to Crown Prince Rainier had journalists scrambling to find out more about Monaco, the tiny but extremely rich European principality. Grace had met Rainier when she headed the US delegation to the Cannes Film Festival in 1955. When Rainier visited America later that year, he met Grace's family, and 3 days later, he proposed to her. Grace sailed from America to join her husband-to-be, and the press came along for the ride. The world was fascinated by this Hollywood star who sacrificed fame for royal love. On her arrival in the tiny tax-free haven, she was greeted by thousands of Monaco citizens, eager for a view of their queen-to-be. In 1956, in what was billed as the wedding of the century, Grace married into the royal family, becoming Her Serene Highness. The day before, the couple had exchanged private vows in a small ceremony, but all the pomp and majesty was saved for the adoring public. Included in the extravagant wedding gifts was a complete refit of the Monaco Palace. Grace's stunning wedding dress was designed by Academy Award winner Helen Rose, and it took 36 seamstresses 6 weeks to complete. It was estimated that an audience of 30 million television viewers watched the actress marry her prince in the Cathedral of St. Nicholas, where she inherited 142 titles, equivalent to her husband. In 2005, Prince Albert II of Monaco ascended the throne in the Riviera Principality, shortly after the death of his father, Rainier III. Albert's mother Grace had died in 1982 in a car accident. Although Albert is the second child of Rainier and Grace, he is the only male, and his 2 sisters Caroline and Stephanie watched the bachelor prince assume the throne. Albert's family have spent 7 centuries on the throne of the tiny nation, making Monaco royalty among the longest reigning in Europe. In terms of the mourning of our great prince, His Serene Highness Rainier III, he remains present in memory, in our hearts and in our prayers. The Monegasque family gathers this morning in joy to celebrate the event of His Serene Highness Albert II, who from now on, thanks to God, will be Sovereign Prince of Monaco. Around 900 people packed the cathedral, and Caroline and Stephanie shed tears as the new era was ushered in. Monaco's royalty does not wear crowns, but there is a ceremonial throne. In the same year, Prince Albert, who has no legal heirs, admitted to fathering an illegitimate child with an Air France flight attendant. Albert, himself a very private man, asked the media to respect the privacy of the child. He also commented that the child will not ascend the throne, nor assume any place in the Grimaldi dynasty. Princess Caroline was the King and Queen's firstborn, and she and her younger sister Princess Stephanie have spent many years moving in the exclusive circles of European royalty and the super rich. However, the bliss of their wealthy and secure childhoods has proved more elusive in their adult lives. Caroline's second husband, the love of her life and father of 3 of her children, was killed in a high-speed motorboat accident when he was 30. She subsequently married Ernst August V, Prince of Hanover. Princess Stephanie had a brief marriage to her bodyguard, with whom she already had 2 children. A royal celebrity, Stephanie's subsequent affairs with a number of men, including an elephant trainer, a ski instructor and a barman, has meant she's rarely out of the European press. She is also a passionate charity worker. In 2006, a once-in-a-lifetime auction brought together a stunning collection of royal artwork, furniture and jewellery, all belonging to the late Princess Margaret. Princess Margaret was the younger sister of Elizabeth, who became Queen of England. Highly intelligent, yet also willful and passionate, Margaret's life was very different to her sister's. In many ways, her story highlights the difficulties a royal princess has when she's born with a fierce and independent spirit. In the 1950s, Princess Margaret was counted among the most glamorous and most photographed women of her day. In 1953, after the death of her beloved father, she announced to the Queen that she wanted to marry Group Captain Peter Townsend, her father's equerry. However, Peter was an older man and divorced, and it was decided that this was not a suitable marriage. In 1960, Margaret married the photographer and commoner Anthony Armstrong Jones, but the marriage was not to last, and it was rumoured that Margaret found solace in a series of affairs. Although the British press were harsh about Margaret, considering her to be the black sheep of the family, she continued to march to the beat of her own drum. Margaret's personal belongings for sale in the Christie's auction certainly hint at a life richly lived.
It's a sort of kaleidoscopic insight into the princess's life. So there's not just jewellery and Fabergé and incredibly expensive things. There's wonderful little jewelled hedgehogs. There's bottles of wine made from grapes grown in Kensington Palace garden in a hot summer like we have today. It's personal items, there's porcelain, there's eccentric brollies, there are wonderful books given by Margot Fontaine. It's an enormous variation, both in terms of quality and in terms of price.
Royal fans and exclusive collectors were keen to take the opportunity to buy something personal from one of the most fascinating women of the 20th century.
So a very touching piece from the sale, a little Victorian bee brooch, but it's accompanied by quite a remarkable note. Almost first bit of jewellery given to Mum by Venetia James, given to me 10th of Feb 1945, and that note is actually in Princess Margaret's own handwriting, so that we know it was given to the Queen Mother when she was just 7 weeks old as a christening gift from her godmother Venetia James. It then was handed down to the Queen Mother's daughter, Princess Margaret.
Coming up, European royalty, the glamour and the glitz. In 2004, Crown Prince Frederick of Denmark, heir to the throne in one of the world's oldest monarchies, married a real estate agent from the other side of the world. Preparation for the spectacular wedding was elaborate and included the commissioning of a people's gift.
We have a long tradition of giving members of the royal family a present, a gift when there's a special occasion. And this time it's a very special occasion. It's the future king, Crown Prince Frederick of Denmark, who's getting married, and he's going to get married with his fiancée, Mary Donaldson from Tasmania.
Despite the prince marrying a commoner, the Danish people embraced the Australian, with more than 20,000 fans cheering at the engagement announcement. Over 800 suggestions for the people's gift wedding present were received, including a Hans Christian Andersen fairy tale house. But two were finally settled on, an original wedding song and the finest Danish china.
The way I do.
Flora Danica porcelain is still moulded and painted by hand, as it was more than 200 years ago. The elaborate overglazed decorations of this precious china contain more than 700 plants, all originating in the old encyclopedia Flora Danica. The dinner service made for the royal couple was painted with Frederick and Mary's monogram, which was personally designed by the reigning Danish queen, Queen Margaret II. In 2007, the royal couple had their second child, this time a girl. In her first public appearance, Mary was coy about the name of her new baby. But it is traditional for members of the Danish royal family to receive 4 names. The couple's first child, Prince Christian, was born in 2005, and he is second in line to the throne after his father. Mary and the Crown Prince famously met in a bar in Sydney, Australia, during the 2000 Olympics. And at the time, he was the one who was coy, not mentioning his royal lineage for some time. The glamorous Letizia, wife of Crown Prince Philippe, was the divorced daughter of a journalist and union leader and a well-known television presenter before she married into Spanish royalty in May 2004. Despite Spain being a socialist country, their royal family continue to be well loved. Here, the couple attend a rodeo at the conclusion of an official 5-day visit to Mexico. Accompanied by Mexico's First Lady, Margarita Zavala, they watch riders on horseback in traditional costume and hats. The prince stated that his trip would serve to continue and strengthen the deep relations between the two countries. The happy couple have 2 children. In 2007, an anxious public waited for news of the arrival of Letizia's second daughter, Sophia. The royal couple broke with tradition by announcing the sex of the baby only 8 weeks into the pregnancy. This was due to complicated constitutional laws, which meant that if Philippe and Letizia were to have a son, he would succeed Philippe before his 2 sisters. Philippe himself has 2 older sisters, but he is first in line. In 2002, eager Dutch royalty watchers prepared for the wedding of Crown Prince Willem-Alexander to his fiancée Maxima. To celebrate the auspicious occasion, a Dutch royal wedding exhibition was staged in Amsterdam, bringing to the public a glimpse of the pageantry and glamour that surrounds a royal wedding. The exhibition was held in the church that only 1 month later would become home to the ceremony itself.
From here it all starts. At 11:30 on the 2nd of February, the royal couple enters the building and then they walk this long way through the path direction of the gate, and there is the platform, their seats, as well the place where they kneel down.
Among the exhibition was the only existing wedding picture of the wedding of King Willem I and Frederica Louise Wilhelmina from 1791. There were also a number of exclusive wedding gifts, including a brooch with 214 precious stones and diamonds, and a 100-piece bathroom set given to Princess Sophia Frederica Matilda in 1839. However, the stunning royal coach is the centrepiece. Painted with images of the Dutch colonies, it was a gift to Queen Wilhelmina in 1898 by the people of Amsterdam. It is a tradition for the royal couple to ride in the carriage through the city on their wedding day. The world may have changed, but for modern royals, life is still opulent.